Oh yeah, that was the ruins I was thinking of.
The ruins, yeah.
All right, stand by, guys.
Welcome to Bloody Good Horror.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Relic, a movie that you may not, at the end, be surprised to find out John picked. But we'll get to that in a little while. Next up on the show, first up on the show, from Chicago, Illinois, no hat tonight, which means you know he's feeling good about his hair. Please welcome Joe to the show.
You can set your fucking watch to this haircut.
Looking pretty good, Joe. Next up on the show from Hotlanta, Georgia, resident book lady and symbolologist, which I think we might need tonight. Please welcome Cece to the show.
Hello. I also got a mom haircut.
Okay,
Does anyone notice?
I was gonna say something. It looks very nice.
Thanks.
Next,
Not
I just think
done.
your hair
Not
always looks
done.
nice, so that's
Oh,
why I didn't
thank
comment.
you.
in a couple of weeks, you and John are gonna have like the same haircut, basically.
I know. I was about to say now that I've cut it shorter, it's gonna be about the same.
Yeah.
Wait, is it like Bob? Like, what do they call that? Like, does it go up in the back, like Kate from Johnny K plus 8? Is that?
Oh, there's a
I mean,
timely
is it-
reference.
Being the
Like-
Karen.
This is called a long bob. It is not a Karen haircut.
All right, just curious.
Next up on the show from
It hurts. You
Indiana.
would think I would go for that.
Yeah, listen, Joe said that. I did not say that for the record. From Indiana, please welcome Casey to the show.
Hello.
And last up tonight, my hetero life partner. He's also the business manager at BloodyGoodHorror.com. Please welcome Mr. John Schnars.
Hello, Eric.
John, when you have the hat on, the hockey hair is real, and I'm really enjoying it. It's actually like curly, which I like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it curls.
I like it. My hair actually
like
does that. My hair does that too when it's long, which I learned in 6th grade when I had a rat tail.
I was gonna guess which year. I had a rat tail too.
Of course,
but
we all did.
Probably only like 4th grade,
Yeah.
thereabouts.
Well, it was a
I
cool.
had
I
one.
need to see pictures of rat tails.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
I
The
could
trouble is they were in the
definitely-
back, like you couldn't really tell that it was there.
listen, it was a cool. It
I
was
mean,
a cool
I'm
look.
sure that you still have a photo of you like at the back of your head.
Eh,
like-
right, you're not gonna do that unless you want to take a picture, right? Like,
See, when
Yeah.
we were younger, it was actually like a thing to take a picture because they just you had to go to a store to get it.
Yeah,
fixed. It was
that's
all-
also-
I mean,
that's
I'm
also
not that
required.
much younger. Like, I mean, I had to get photos developed too.
I was joking.
Cece, let me explain Kodak to you, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
John's
I know
mansplaining
they were
film to
Polaroids.
Cece.
Don't act like you didn't use those.
Remember the late '90s when they had like the sticker Polaroids?
Those were
Yeah.
great.
that?
Yeah.
Good
Were
times.
they?
I don't know. I never owned a Polaroid growing up. Like my grandparents had one, I think.
They were
No,
It was
we
super.
didn't.
always a novelty. to
They
me.
were super
And
cool.
It's still.
They still make them because now it's like hipster.
Yeah, I would say now it's like a
Yeah.
super trendy thing. I have one of the retro ones that's like the mini.
Yeah, now I kind of want
Whatever.
one because we're talking about it. Not the point of tonight. Anyway, we're here tonight to talk about Relic, starring Emily Mortimer, John of Jesus Christ, John of 30 Rock fame, of famous
Yes.
avian bone syndrome.
Avian bone
It's a big
syndrome.
thing with her.
Uh,
So we're gonna get to that in a little bit here, but first up, Joe,
Yeah.
please tell us what we're drinking tonight.
Beer guts.
Uh, sometimes I struggle to find a beer, and sometimes they just work out so perfectly, like in this case, that you feel like the hand of God has reached down and just touched you in so many gentle places. Relic, a movie about I don't know, a mother-daughter relationship, I guess you could say.
Sure.
The guilt of moving away from home, and the dread of having to go back and see your family. I would say.
Is that what you got from this movie? Okay,
Is it-
we're gonna unpack
Kinda.
that in a second here.
This is. I honestly think this movie is going to be an interesting kind of prism into all of our
Rorschach
lives.
test, yeah.
Yeah, because I just got like nagging mother.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna unpeel that in a minute here. Why don't you keep going, Joe?
But I picked what might
Oh man.
quite possibly be the most perfect beer I've ever chosen for a show. It's from the good folks at War Pigs Brewing. That's a collaboration between I'm gonna mispronounce it, but Three Floyds out in Munster, Indiana, and McKellar, which is a brewery in Denmark.
Yeah.
And
that's correct.
the beer that they put out is called Foggy Geezer, John.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus Christ,
that's
Joe.
good stuff.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, it is perfect. And also, what the fuck?
So these two breweries kind of collaborated. They opened up a brew pub in Denmark. It's actually, I don't know, I've obviously never been there, but I've read reviews. It's like a barbecue / brewery. And
There's
supposedly-
one in San Francisco too.
is there? Do they have multiple locations? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I've been to there's a McKellar bar in San Francisco.
oh, but no, the War Pigs.
War Pigs.
Oh,
John,
sorry.
John, we know
Oh,
we
my
know
bad,
you're
my bad.
cool, okay, buddy? It's fine. You don't have to tell us.
But yeah, so they collaborate and brew these beers together. Foggy Geezer is a hazy IPA, which is kind of like a trendy beer right now, but this one is still great. I'm a big fan. It's got a lot of kind of fruit in it. Definitely a lot more drinkable than like your traditional IPA. But still packs a little bit of a punch. Comes in at about things are loading. 6.8% alcohol, so it's up there. And it's like
Nice.
super drinkable. Like you definitely
Very.
you can't tell it's that high in alcohol, so you can down like 6 of these within like 15-20 minutes and like be cruising right along.
I believe you can.
Now, I was gonna say we all got a good lap out of the name of the beer, Foggy Geezer, but War Pigs also has another good IPA called Salmon Pants.
Yeah, they put out a handful of beers. They're all great.
Yeah, they are.
They distribute, I know, in Indiana, Minnesota, I think Rhode Island, Wisconsin, Illinois, obviously, a handful of other states, but great stuff. Not that, anyone listening to this is probably going to go visit the brewery, but warpigs.com is their website. And yeah, big thumbs up to everything they do.
Also, I love that song. It's a very good
Yeah.
song.
Listen, you can swing by and see Casey on your way through,
Yep.
Indiana.
This is true.
Again-
Bring me some Foggy Geezer. And
Again,
drink it with
War
your
Pigs
favorite Foggy Geezer.
in Copenhagen, John. Still very much not in the United States.
McKellar?
Jesus Christ, John.
What are you? Oh, War Pig is in Copenhagen.
Yes, yeah.
I thought you. What's in Indiana?
Three
So-
Floyds.
Three Floyds and McKellar
Hoosiers?
came together and made this brewery called War
Jesus
Pigs.
Christ.
It's a collaboration brewery that is in.
Well,
ah.
I'm very glad that we got to the bottom of that.
I'm only half listening when you speak, Joe. So that's the issue. So
Same,
Let's get to
same,
your
John.
word of the day, John. Let me guess.
Yeah.
Relic.
Same, bro.
thought about it, Joe. Looked into it.
I actually had a suggestion, but I'm positive we've already used it. But we can get to it. All right, guys. It is time. Let's take a quick break and discuss Relic.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
And we're back. John, which part of Don Draper's journey are you on this week? I'd like to know.
Does he make it to the 80s? Because that's kind of
You
like where
know,
I'd
I
wanna be.
actually stopped watching that show after the second season because I didn't like it after that. So
Oh, well,
I'm
all
not
right,
sure.
you're the-
I don't want to
Gymnast.
spoil it, but no, he does not, John.
Oh, all right.
bummer, dude.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, all right, John. Please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is Warren.
Hmm.
That's Warren. Warren is a network of interconnecting rabbit burrows.
Oh, I love a good rabbit burrow.
Wow, John.
Also a densely populated or labyrinthine building or district. Warren. Comes to us from the Old French Garenne.
This is actually pretty
Garenne.
good because I feel like it's relevant and you actually thought about it. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah,
Are you sure Cece didn't send you this?
Sometimes, Eric.
Yeah.
Garenne, the Old French, game park. Game park. I don't know. Warren.
All right, sick, dude.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. The popularity of the word, according to Google, has like gone up a lot. You know, and I assume it's because it's being used as a name, including for politician these days. Yes, Eric.
Great. John, what can you tell me about the Relic? What can you tell me about Relic? Not the
Yeah.
Relic.
No, we don't want to talk about that Relic. Relic, brought to us by Natalie Erica James. She is a first-time filmmaker. I don't know much about her personally, but this came out earlier this month, and yeah, I mean, it's an interesting movie. It is an Australian film by Provenance, but I mean, sort of somewhat of an international. Is Emily Mortimer Australian? I always
I
thought
think
she
she's
was
she's from
British.
the UK.
Yeah, I
We
think
looked
she's
it up
British,
last night
yeah.
when we were watching this.
There you go. But the other two actresses, the grandmother and the daughter, are Australian. In any event, Joe teed this up a little bit, but essentially the film begins with the matriarch of this family. Her name is Edna. She has disappeared, and so Emily Mortimer, who plays Kay, she's the daughter of Edna. She's going to find her and brings along Sam, who is her daughter. So you essentially have these three generations of women, all returning to sort of the childhood home that Kay grew up in. And what we come to learn is it's actually sort of a familial compound, or not compound, but the land has been in their family for several generations. They don't know where Edna is for a little while, and for essentially the first act of the film is them trying to find her. Once she returns, and even before, we come to learn that she's been struggling a little bit with her memory. They find there's sticky notes, Post-it notes all over the house that sort of say things like, take your pills. There's a sequence where we see that she's forgotten to turn off the water. This is like one of the first scenes in the film, in a bath, and just let the bath run. And so, there's effectively the film, once the grandmother returns, it becomes this kind of three-woman drama where there's just some spooky shit going on, and it's sort of unclear how much of it is happening in reality versus how much of it is sort of the perception of these women due to their sort of interactions with each other. But all of it really sort of centered around some of the familial strife tied to Edna kind of losing, I don't know, she's going senile.
And the family trying to deal with it while also like she's getting scurry, so it's like she's kind of being monstery at some point, so they're also dealing with that.
She's and this is not uncommon, but like with dementia, like she's
lashing out,
acting out. She's lashing out. She obviously sees they're trying to take her freedom away from her. They're questioning her in ways that she doesn't feel comfortable with, and so I mean it devolves from there.
Okay, I heard most of that, John. You proud of me?
Great. Cool.
Cece, what did you think of Relic?
So I think it's a phenomenal film, and I mean, notwithstanding the fact that this was a first-time director, but I think that it's on the same par for me as like Hereditary. Like it's the emotional toll it takes on you is super intense. Like, I mean, especially if you're a woman who has any sort of like, which most women have at least some sort of, mother-daughter strife, or, kind of mix up in their relationship. Like it's really, I don't know, it's really raw and
it's, I would use the word, it's like harrowing at times.
Yeah. I mean, I give all these actresses amazing credit because I think that there's a delicacy and like a grace that they portray throughout the movie, but it's also, I don't know, it's very real. Like it's hard to watch this movie and be like, I'm enjoying it, but it's also really well done. So I don't really know how to how to justify those two, or not justify, but like I guess rectify the two of those together. So yeah, I mean, overall, did I think it was good? Yes, I think it's great. I think that the ability to kind of use dementia or just, you know, deterioration and this like terror of not existing anymore and turning that into like a supernatural but also very real horror was super intense.
Yeah, hard agree. Joe, what'd you think?
I have no idea how to follow that up. No, I think Cece is like spot on to exactly how I feel about this. Like the wife and I watched this last night, and I can't say it was enjoyable, but I appreciated it for what I was watching. I think it's super slow, and then the last half hour, maybe like 20 minutes, take such a hard turn that like I think I looked down at my phone for like half a second, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, how the fuck is this person where she is? Like it escalates isn't the right word, but it does whatever it does. Like,
it takes a hard, I mean, you described it, we were chatting about it. It takes a hard turn.
But like it's the heaviness of especially like the first, it's only an hour and 28, right? Like the heaviness of that first hour is like it weighs on you. And then all of a sudden, like that last 28 minutes, it's like somebody just adds like another sandbag to your chest while you're watching it.
That's actually a really good analogy.
Like, you know, like Cece, I can say like I'm happy I watched it. I appreciated it, but I don't know if I'd say like, yeah, I love this. I'm gonna sit back down and watch it again.
Yeah, it's like, how do you recommend, I think John said it in email, it's like, how do you recommend this to someone? Like, oh, do you want to feel shitty? Sure, like, totally watch this movie.
Yeah, no, 100%. Casey.
Yeah, I can't really say anything different than Joe and Cece a whole lot. I felt the same way. I was really impressed with this flick. It is very hard to watch, especially if you have any kind of business of this going on in your family, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of us out there do. Prepare yourself. It's going to be a hard watch. I really like the fact, though, that I think the most impressive, because you guys covered a lot of this stuff, one of the things I'm most impressed with is this is a movie filled with a lot of symbology and stuff like we joked about, and they're kind of painting a picture of this experience, but she doesn't bury it in the rest of the story or anything like that. Everything this director's trying to do is up front, it's on the nose, and you're right there along with the ride, and that was kind of a nice change for a movie with a message like this and it not being too hidden. It's sad as hell, but it was nice that they were just upfront with it. So
yeah, that's actually a really good way to put something I had kind of and then John, I didn't forget you, buddy, but something I'd kind of thought of, which is that you're going through it and you're wondering how deep the symbolism is, and then it kind of breaks a wall in the last, I would say, 10 minutes where it's like fully symbolic, like everything you're seeing, and it's kind of interesting
it's
that it comes
than that even.
Well, but I mean specifically that last scene, like in that last scene where like we might as well be the ending of May or something. At that point.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
but yes, the whole
the
third
word
act.
of the day being warrant, like there's this like element of the house becoming a warren of rooms that at first I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then you're like, ooh. Yeah. And then to your point, like they kind of they take that visual metaphor, or they take, it's not even a visual metaphor, it's like a screenwriting metaphor, and they continue to like pull it through the rest of the film. And then to your point, that last sequence or the last 10 minutes, because I really thought the movie was over when they sort of escape, and I was
Me
like,
too, bro. Cool. I sent my email and then I started watching the last 10 minutes and I was on G-Show. I'm like, guys, what the fuck is the ending of this movie?
Well, and but it's so beautiful. Like it really turns the film You know, and I think this is like like the point I would make, because I agree with what everyone says. I think this is like honestly one of the better movies I've seen in a while. Like even as I've like thought about it more since I finished watching it, you know, it's been like it's been a hard year for, you know, great film, because a lot of stuff they're kind of like sitting on, and you know, but this is a movie that it's really, really good. Like it's for her to be a first time filmmaker. The script she also wrote this, right?
It's very assured.
Yeah, and it's very tight, you know, and not just tight like it's short in runtime, but you know, she had such a clear vision and was able to execute it so well, and part of that is having great talent to work with in the actors. But I mean, we all have had interpersonal shit like with family. I mean, Cece talked about like the mother-daughter relationship, so like, you know, whether it's like with grandparents or just like, I mean, it's so relatable, right? And like the way that these people are all interacting with each other is so relatable. So, yeah, I loved it. I mean, I don't know, like it's a movie like I probably won't watch again anytime
There's
soon.
no fucking way I would ever watch this movie.
I mean, it's heartbreaking. Like it's so beautiful, but it's very heartbreaking.
She just can't go back home and get away from her mom. I felt the pain.
I'm like right there with you guys. I think for a first-time director, it's super impressive. I would describe this as like Ari Aster light, which somebody may have mentioned, in that it's not quite as disturbing as an Ari Aster movie. It's not quite as masterful, which like, who is? Like the guy is like a genius, right?
But I also, just to jump in real quick, like I think Ari Aster is very, not that he uses shock value, but like Ari Aster is very raw in terms of like, you're going to see this.
Yes.
And I think that this is a much more, I don't mean like that Ari Aster's not graceful, but there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of intent behind
I think that
whereas...
I think that especially the movie like Hereditary, Ari Aster is at times intentionally trying to alienate people. Like he's trying to be so messed up, he's trying to mess you up. I will never forget seeing Hereditary and the couple next to me whose wife, like the wife wanted to go see it because she liked Toni Collette. The fucking conversation these two people had in the theater, never forget. But like, whereas this movie, it wants to be like, I guess the comparison is that it's a really bleak, dark movie about grief. The difference is that in the end, they're not trying to turn you away. They're trying to draw you into this like intensely human moment. And it's really all about, you realize in that last scene, like it's all leading up to it. And it's not about disturbing you. It's about bringing you to like this really deep life thing. You know what I mean? And that's why it like floored me, like when I saw it. Emily Mortimer's fantastic. She's the thing about her is when you think about her range, it's really amazing. Like you think about her on 30 Rock versus The Newsroom versus everything else she's done or something like this, and she just has a ton of range. It's a very small cast. Somebody brought up the actress who plays a grandmother. I swear she's played like a scary grandmother in some other movie because she looked like I recognized.
She looked a lot. Grandmother in The Visit.
I was gonna say that's not her, but that's who I thought it was.
It does look like her kind
of.
And
John,
until I
looked
it up on IMDb, I could have sworn that was her.
John, you mentioned Matrix. I was trying to figure out like the
she's
sequels.
in the Matrix sequels. She plays like her.
I wonder if she's like
the
a
character's
person.
name is Counselor Dillard.
Yes, yes. Okay, so she's in like what do they call that? There? What do they call the underground
place?
That's
a Matrix name right there.
What do they call the what the fuck is it called? Where's the place that they live underground?
I don't.
Come on, John.
The Matrix, isn't that where they are?
No, in the real world.
It's like
the Warrens
or something like that.
God damn it.
Yeah, the Warrens.
Anyway, I did recognize her, but it's a fantastic movie to me. At the end of the day, and I don't know, I don't know how wide this is. If you guys want to talk about, get into the ending or what, but it's like
well, it's available now. Like this is available.
It's a movie about entropy to me, like human entropy in a really deep way, like especially. And that I'm not sure that fully revealed itself to me until that literally the final shot of the movie, where the granddaughter then has this realization, and I had just like really profound moment of just like made me think of just Hands of Time, like it's the granddaughter realizing like it's a cycle that never ends. Like it's not just that we're going through this, it's that we're just going to keep doing this because that's.
But that's
time
what all
and
the
space
stuff
and,
about. Like the house that existed on the property before,
Right.
and like the dreams that Emily Mortimer's had. Like, yeah, no, it it's not heavy-handed. I mean, we're like kind of like spelling it out for folks, but it's not super heavy-handed. But it's there, and it's fairly consistently pulled through. But they really go for it. Like they go right at the jugular of it in that like final scene.
The weird way reminded me of I don't know. Whatever. This is one of those things that maybe won't make sense, but that really weirdly physical scene in The Color Out of Space with the mother like attached to the kid getting reabsorbed into the mother. Like it's not that disturbing, but it's the same like really physical weird confrontation of something and they're forcing you to look at.
Well, in this case, like this final sequence is like a visual metaphor for
yes, exactly.
Like again, like interfamilial or intergenerational relationships and sort of like what it can look like or how it, I don't know, it was just such a powerful representation.
Yeah.
Of, again, like I haven't had to go through this, thank God, with my own parents, but I've seen it with like the generation before them, and like, you know, it gets fucking dark.
So let's back it up in the beginning, and then maybe we can kind of work to the end if we want to or whatever.
Yeah,
but
sure.
it's because the first act is really interesting. The first act is the most horror movie-ish and it's really strong because it's where she like they go to the house and she's gone, and the opening scene is beautiful. Like this shot with the Christmas tree blinking and the water and stuff. It's so
did
cool.
you notice so this was a point I was going to make but like I'm actually this is like one of these COVID situations that's a real bummer. Like I would love to see this on the big screen because there are a ton, at least I suspect there are a ton of sort of like Easter eggs. So in that very first sequence with the Christmas tree, right before they cut away, there's like a figure moving.
There's
in
a
the
person.
distance.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I was kind of like keeping my eye out after I saw that because I felt like there was a ton, and I probably missed a bunch too.
There's the thing under the bed that's like very obvious.
That's obvious.
You know, like,
I think that's in the trailer if I remember.
Okay.
I mean, it's a very small movie without a lot of actors. So by the second act, so that's them trying to find her. She then just shows up in a really crazy scene because she's like covered in filth and acting totally normal. And then the second act is kind of where everything devolves more. She starts lashing out, and that stuff's really difficult to watch too because the granddaughter is just trying to reach out to her and help her, and she's just being like kind of crazy, and you know. But what I think what's impressive about it is that it doesn't drag, even though it's only 3 actors more or less for the whole thing, and it's a lot of quiet, moody scenes, but there's such a good tension throughout the whole thing that I think that it sustains itself in an impressive way.
Yeah, I don't think it drags, but I definitely.
It gets
I would
exhausting.
feel like 3 hours had passed, and I would look at the time left, and it would like 10 minutes.
Well,
had gone
because
by.
like what Cece said, it like it's emotionally exhausting, and that makes stuff feel harder.
It's a lot. Yeah, every scene is a lot to take in.
Well, and it's really interesting that like it gives it that it can achieve that feeling because I think that it's really good at making you feel like, you know, not only is the grandmother, you know, trapped in her like deteriorating body and her deteriorating mind, like now her daughter and her granddaughter are there, and it all becomes very like claustrophobic, so that intensity turns into like this length of time that like also kind of parallels what the grandmother's feeling. So like I think that it's a phenomenal job of like multiple senses, you know, like you don't see a lot of movies that can balance that really well. And I think that this does it impressively.
Yeah.
I mean, and I haven't fought this malady myself with anybody in my family, but none of it seems like it's too over the top or campy. Even the stuff in the last 10 minutes, it is over the top, a little weird, but they're making a point, and none of it feels like it's just like gratuitously thrown on there or anything like that. It all seems pretty realistic.
I mean, I haven't experienced directly this, but a similar situation, and I think there's so much about this too in this movie about like the toll that being a caretaker takes on you. And you see that with Emily Mortimer's character because she's not only taking care of her mother, it's like the sandwich generation thing, like she's also trying to kind of help her daughter kind of find herself too. And just
and her daughter's trying to help out too. It just encompasses
and
everybody.
I really liked their relationship because the daughter isn't just like a petulant teenager or 20 something, you know, like she's really trying to be there. The granddaughter's really trying to be there and like help, but also she still has her own shit she's going through.
Well, and that's what felt realistic to me about this is like Emily Mortimer's character. You're right, like it's about the toll, but like she she doesn't do that much. Like her immediate response is like, well, we're putting her in a home, I guess. And so then it becomes about the conflict between mother and daughter with Emily Mortimer and her daughter of like, you can't do this to grandmother. Like maybe she's not. That's like they're actually, that's a lot of that tension is about like how they handle it. But then to your point, like it actually does eventually, I mean, very realistically becomes about the like toll that it takes on the younger generations at the end.
Yeah. And there's this really profound moment going into the third act where the grandmother at some point turns into like a full-on zombie, like really crazy makeup and like kind of perfectly measured where it's frightening, but you don't feel like you're suddenly watching another movie or something. And I think it's kind of, it's a metaphor for like when we have people in our lives that are sick, they become unfamiliar to you at some point when the physical stuff starts taking a toll on them.
Yeah, they shed the layer that you were familiar with and knew and become something else completely that's completely
But there's this really profound moment where they escape her. There's like a lot of horror movie like fighting almost going on. They go to leave the house and Emily Mortimer like shuts the daughter out and is like, I have to do this. Like I can't leave her. And it's like that moment was like insane.
But I love, I mean, even before you get to that, like I love the way they handled the grandmother's this passage, right? Because it starts with, oh, there's like a bruise on your chest. Like where did that bruise come from? She's like, I don't know. Like what are you talking about? But that bruise like metastasizes and like then it's like her arm is dark. And then, you know, she like basically, you know, pisses on the floor and like there's like, you know, it gets more and more physical to the point then where I don't know. I'm curious, like Cece, what is the deal with the candles? And like I'm actually curious, like is that like a hobby that people like? Is there like an art there like that? Just not from. Well, I mean, I know candle making is, but like those types of candles, I'd never seen anything like that. With, like, the
what?
feeling and
John, have you never been to like a boardwalk or shitty vacation town where like
I've only seen them at like
home?
Yeah, I've only seen them at like really touristy areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that
apparently. So, okay, so,
I think that it. I mean, I just kind of interpreted it as like a very intentional metaphor for like, you know, I mean, she's, you know, like there's the adage of like burning the candle at both ends, but like, you know, also like when candles snuff out, like you're dead. So it's just it's very interesting that like her hobby is something that's very, that's what they fucking say. But like, you know, I think that it's just a really interesting, it's like we've talked before, like it's a really interesting intentional like symbol, but it doesn't feel like it's being so intentional that you're like, you know, if you missed it, that
you're
it
not
seems like it's not like it doesn't seem like you're being beaten over the head with it. No. So like I thought
that's what I was talking about when I didn't think any of this was like overly deep and it was left to interpretation. Just exactly what Cece was saying.
Like I think too, like especially it being such an ornate thing, like it's kind of toying with the idea that like, yes, she's very like cognate of what's happening and like of herself, but then she also realizes that she's dying and like she kind of, you know, I think that it's a very like all candle making is a very like personal hobby anyway. Like it's a pretty like solitary thing. So like I think it's interesting to have her doing something that's essentially like
and like
life or death.
It's also like hobby. But they really weird choice, not weird, but like intentional, where the wax is red a lot, and it's like there's a really gross, creepy look about what she's doing.
I think you can make that stuff up in there.
They show that candle on the mantle within 5 seconds, and Leslie and I both just made it. Ew.
It's pretty horrifying. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
Those candles are like what you get at like Lake George, Eric. Like
when I took like the number of candles we saw around the house, and she had her little workroom set up and stuff. I took it as just the symbol of her old life and transitioning into that new life for what she was leaving behind, because you get to see what she's leaving behind. And enjoyed what Emily Mortimer is losing, what the granddaughter is losing, and everything, and it just kind of piles up from there.
I took it as she may have been a carny for most of her life.
That's true. I think that I will say, like, as much as like I hate comparing it to Hereditary constantly, because I know that like that's not necessarily a very fair like comparison. But in terms of like generational baggage and just kind of balancing the like Hereditary is very intentionally isolating and intentionally um very caustic, whereas this movie does a very good job of showing you like the it's not generational baggage, but it's like that pull you feel towards your family, even though like, you know, you realize you can't really do anything or you can't really fix things, and you know, whether or not they're good or bad, like you still feel very very connected. And I think that that connection between the mother, the grandmother, and the daughter is very, it's very cool to see that relationship not deteriorate, but like they kind of go into this, you know, Wale de situation where they're experiencing the same thing she's experiencing in a very like real way, while the grandmother is experiencing it in a very supernatural way.
It becomes very explicit, right? That's where like the sort of like metaphor comes to life. I mean, I was really, I don't want to say I was like taken aback, because what I loved, I mean, you know, we were talking, or someone mentioned the sort of like hard turn that this movie takes. I actually, it didn't feel like a hard turn to me, only because the stuff with the daughter, so the youngest daughter, Sam, she gets like that element of her getting trapped happens like and goes on for a while, to the point where, again, like the way it's handled, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is a little weird. And then you know, you're like, okay, is this, am I in a different movie? But then when you sort of realize what the point of it is, and obviously as it ties into the things that are going on with Emily Mortimer and Edna, I don't know, I thought it was extremely well executed, and I felt like it ramped more than, it was more of a ramp into the kind of craziness, as opposed to like a sharp like break into craziness. I don't know, that was just
I mean, I think for me, when I said it was a sharp turn, it was, you're kind of dancing around, is something supernatural happening in this movie? And then all of a sudden, like literally I look up and the daughter is walking down a hall and like trapped in this, you know, like obviously something fucked up is now happening. Like,
it is kind of, it's like a switch flips, and then suddenly, the
like
physical
the reveal
changes.
is very quick. Like,
but there is spooky stuff happening. Like, this is where I say, like, there's like these little Easter eggs early in the film with the like kind of ghost looking thing. Like, you're led to believe, and I think this is also the sort of importance of those dream sequences. People have heard me rant, like dream sequences, like oftentimes I feel like are like super duper lazy, and there was probably like one too many dream sequences here for me personally, but like I actually think it is important because it does pull in that element of the supernatural.
It's really visually striking, at least, you know, it's pretty effective.
They're also there's a lot of like spooky shit going on in those dream sequences. So but it does at least like tee you up for, oh, all right, like everybody's having a little bit of a break with reality potentially, and that's where it obviously goes crazy places.
Can we talk about the ending? Because I'd like someone to explain it to me.
So this is how I read it. So spoiler alert if you're watching this right now. I think Casey kind of nailed it earlier. It's like when you're that sick and breaking down, it's like you become a foreign thing to the people around you, and it scares them. And then I think this process at the end, Emily Mortimer goes back in the house. Her mother's a literal zombie, like looks like she's from Evil Dead 2 or something. And in this, like,
I think they got the makeup crew actually.
This horrifying scene, but also like just deeply emotional and resonant. She like peels this layer, this like detritus layer off of her mother. It's the only way I can fucking describe it. And there's like a shell of a human being underneath that's all like shriveled. She looks like a giant raisin or something.
It was also like childlike in appearance.
Yeah,
I mean, part of that, I think,
and
is like
smaller.
hair,
you know, like so.
The face was smaller.
I cannot possibly get across without people seeing it how profound this scene is, where Emily Mortimer is peeling these layers off of her mother. It's like because you've just gone through her being attacked by her, and it's a horror movie, and now it's like it is not a horror movie right now. This is just life shit. That scene to me it's like being with someone when they pass, and instead of turning from it, embracing it and helping them shed off the final layers of humanity and cross that line.
I think that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, but then the granddaughter comes in at some point, and this is just like, it reminds me of the ending of A Dark Song, in that it's a very like spiritual thing that I think I'll never be able to get out of my head, where so the grandmother's like ready to die, and she's like this shell, and she lays down on her side, and then Emily Mortimer lays down on her side, and they're not like spooning, but they're laying with each other back to front or whatever. Then the granddaughter comes in, isn't scared anymore, lays down on her side behind Emily Mortimer, so you've got this like line of generations. And as the grandmother's kind of like passing, the granddaughter, who's looking at her mother's back, has this like horror movie moment. There's a little like strings that pop up, and like she pulls her, I don't remember if it's her hair or like her shirt or something, and Emily Mortimer just has this little small patch of the decay on her shoulder. And that to me is what I'm getting at when I started talking about it's like, it's the cycle, it's entropy, it's just humans breaking down continually, and it's like passing from generation to generation, and the daughter is now having this moment of like, this isn't just about my grandmother, this is about my mother, and then it's going to be about me, and it's going to be about my daughter. It's like a really profound moment.
I pull it even closer and say it's about hereditary, essentially, because it's something that's going to get passed down. And so now you know that daughter knows that she's going to have to deal with this with her mom, and she knows that someday it's probably going to hit her too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, I had read something right before the show started that basically, like, essentially the screenwriter director, they were talking about that. I mean, it was a moment of like, they refer to it as like this black mold that like envelops the whole family, and that it's just a very like intense personal moment of like connection, but also like you said, like everyone's gonna get it, everyone's gonna die, and you just kind of have to like rectify that within yourself.
I wish you guys could see the G chats that I sent John and Joe as this was happening. It was just like, WTF, dude.
But this is where, I mean, again, this stuff's teed up, I think, really effectively, and it's not. So at the end, there's an aha moment where you're like, Jesus. And in some ways, I don't want to say it's like the darkest possible ending, because it's actually like, it's not. Like there's a tender moment. There's like true grace that's being shown to this older generation. But, it's teed up where there's this whole element of the window that was in the original house that was on the property. And like, there's all this like shit about how like gross and evil that house was, and how the mother Edna, the one who's losing it, she like had all this antipathy toward the earlier generations, yada yada. And so like you then see that window lives in the house, like it has been transitioned from the older house to this new house that they're in, and it is itself a visual metaphor that's being covered over. And it's like, and it is, I mean, you keep, Eric, you referenced entropy, like that's the most negative reading is like the film ends with that window kind of like mostly being like
John, are you trying to tell me I had a negative reading on this movie? I don't
no but no, I mean, like, because
I didn't find it negative, I just found it like profound. It's like life
I'm saying I'm not saying you had one. I'm saying like the positive reading is that like the film is like about sort of generations like having to like reconcile with the like hereditary elements of all this shit, like and the transitioning from life to death, as you mentioned. But like that window as like a symbol for this family is itself being clouded over. Like it's like the window is itself like being irreparably damaged, and so like if Emily Mortimer is sick at her age, like if that's like what we're to take away, like this is actually accelerating, like it's getting worse for them than like Edna, who's in her 70s, being sick. I don't know, that's like I guess like a darker reading.
Well, and I mean, you're right. Like, it's really interesting too that like, we also hear the mother ask the daughter, Kay ask Sam.
That's right.
Kay asked her daughter, like, are you still working at the gallery? Which like makes it sound like a pretty lucrative or, at least like legitimate job. And when she's like, no, I've just been working at the bar. and like she immediately is like kind of disappointed, and it makes it sound like, you know, her daughter doesn't really have a lot going on in her life, or that she doesn't have like people, and we don't really hear that she's like dating anyone or anything. So like it's a really interesting way to end the movie, that like not only is it, if you're gonna interpret it as like, you know, this generational kind of deterioration that's happening, it's happening faster and sooner, and then at some point, like if Sam doesn't have anyone, like she'll die alone without anyone to help her, and then that'll be the end of that family.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that either. Jesus Christ, Cece.
Jesus, Cece.
You know, you're dead on. You're totally right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big brain Cece. I like it.
Bringing the heat.
Yeah, that's the movie, man.
Yeah,
Shit's
it was
crazy.
already bleak, but now after that, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Would you recommend this, Joe?
Yeah, sure.
Cece.
If you're looking to mess up your evening, or you know, if you're
like, too comfortable in 2020, why don't you watch this movie?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you're having one of those days that you're feeling very introspective, and you're like, I want to watch something that's like heavy in generational baggage, then yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Just hang
like,
out for
Ari
80
Aster
minutes.
is so lucky he doesn't have a movie coming out. Could you imagine if Midsummer came out this year? Like, we'd all be like, fuck this movie. I fuck it out of here.
Yes.
Or Hereditary, even more, because that movie's just so bleak. Casey, what about you?
I think I'd say yes. It's a really well-made film.
All right, John Boy.
Yeah, I'm going unequivocal. Thumbs up. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Joe. It's like a qualified yes. It's like you gotta make the decision for you, bro. I'm not gonna tell you to watch this or not, but it's really fucking good. It's like
It's fair.
another Australian movie we did this year, Nightingale, an incredible movie that I don't want to tell anybody to watch. So you're all adults, is what I'm saying. You guys can figure out if you want to watch this or not.
Make your own decisions.
That's all I'm saying, dude. Yeah. Free will, my friend. All right, that's gonna do it. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
He jumped. I was like, it's okay, honey. You'll be all right. So you're just on the edge the whole time. Being able to scream in the theater is fun.
The best scary movie since The Sixth Sense. You'll have a spooky good time.
You're the scariest movie I've ever seen.
The Ring, rated PG-13. Now playing.
I'm Ray Wise from Twin Peaks, and you are listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
Jojo. I think we have a rare entry into the 2020 top 10 here, buddy.
Yeah. Do you want to?
I feel like you've been entering every movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, this is a definite top fiver. What's my top 3 right now?
Right now, your top 3 are Fantasy Island.
Shut up! It is not. Fuck you.
No, you've got Come to Daddy, Becky, and VFW.
This is the best movie that I've seen this year, honestly. So let's do it. What's number 10?
I'll read the rest. Come to Daddy, Becky, VFW, Underwater, Gretel and Hansel, The Invisible Man, Extraordinary, Color, Out of Space, Scare Package, and The Hunt. I mean, Scare Package was garbage.
You can boo. You can
right
boo
now?
Scare Package. That's fine.
There you go.
I don't feel like having that fight with you for the next 6 months, so let's just do it.
I was gonna anyway. You want this at number 1 right now?
Yes, I would like that at number 1. Thank you. I have Invisible Man pretty low. That might need to get booted up. I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't know. Maybe I was tired that day and I just couldn't commit. It happens. John Schnars. Actually, I'm not. This has nothing to do with you. I don't know why I called your name. I like to say your name. What else we got going on? Okay, Cece, real quick, book club. I have this info. You want me to say it, or do you?
Yes, please.
Okay, gotcha. So Alyssa, of course, who is a BGH super fan and now official co-runner of the book club, sent me a note. This month, you guys are doing The Devil in Silver by Victor Laval.
Yeah.
Laval. So there you go. You can go to find it on Bookreads. Goodreads. That's what I meant.
Goodreads.com.
Also, bloodygoodhorror.com. It's also there. There you go. All right. Sophie
I don't think it is it?
Yeah, there's a on the tabs. If you go to the site, it just says there's a book club tab. I'm pretty sure. Sophie
there was at one point.
Sophie sent a note about tweet with BGH.
Is it available on Killer Flicks? Sorry.
Can I continue, please? Sophie says, since we celebrated Thanksgiving last week, it's only fitting this week we go with Christmas in July. Join Tweet with BGH crew for a viewing of Krampus this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow at BGH New Class Live on Twitter and use the hashtag tweetwithbgh. So that's cool. John, I watched Little Monsters with some patrons on Sunday night. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Gad in that movie.
Yeah.
Knowing what to expect, it's better the second time in some ways, like watching his shtick.
I mean, I'm kind of always here for Josh Gad. Has anybody watched? He has a show. It's like an animated show from the Bob's Burger people on what's called Apple TV Plus. I don't know what the hell they call it.
No, John. No one has watched that.
I don't think that's a thing.
You should watch it because Josh Gad is the main character. It's a musical, animated comedy sitcom. It's actually quite good.
Yeah,
I'm not paying for Apple Plus or whatever the hell that is now, too.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Josh Gad cartoon, but you shouldn't discount the Apple TV shows. They've got some solid shit they've been putting out.
I want to watch that Tom Hanks movie too.
That's too many services for me. I will say that a BGH angel who knows who they are lent me their Hulu login so I could watch Little Monsters, and that means that I can now watch Jersey Shore again, Joe. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Are you watching? How they lent you to watch Little Monsters, but now that means
no. It was It was agreed upon. Okay, it was fine.
Just a really quick pro tip on Apple: if you have an Apple device of any kind, you get it for free for a year.
John, you fucking work for them?
Let it go, John.
I'm just saying, I've never paid for. I don't want to be accused of paying for too many services because I get a little sensitive about that.
I can hear it in your voice. It's a little weird.
Well, I'm just saying, you get it for free.
So defensive of them.
Jeez, buddy. All right, we got a great email from so this is from Lori. So Lori was the one who wrote in last week asking about going out to the theater. And you guys may or may not remember that I came a little hot out of the gate anti going to the theater. I didn't know it was Lori. I sent Lori an email to apologize to her because I was in a place and I got a little fired up last week. But anyway, she sent this really nice response, so I just wanted to read it. I just wanted to clear up a few things from my Ask BGH tweet last week. I'm not here to change your mind as to whether or not you should visit your local theaters when they're open. You do you, boo. I did want to just take a moment to commend our local Alamo Theater for the good job they are doing for those of us that are comfortable venturing out. I don't want anyone to misunderstand. They are taking this very seriously and doing all they can. When you buy your ticket online only, the 2 seats directly on either side of you are automatically blocked off and no longer for sale. Can I just say, can we please make that a thing after quarantine? Because that sounds like my heaven. They have a person stationed in the lobby with hand sanitizer and masks in case you forgot yours. You have to wear one. Arrive no more than 30 minutes before, so there's no loitering in the lobby. You go right to the theater. You can order limited food. It comes covered. When it's over, you remain in your seat, leave row by row. No loitering in the lobby, right out to your car. I've been fairly careful and haven't ventured out much. This was something I felt pretty safe doing. I have friends that aren't convinced, and that is cool. A big thanks to Joe for not shaming me, and Eric for shaming her. I appreciate it, man. It wasn't my intention to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I love listening to you guys and look forward to the show every week. Keep up the good work. Stay safe and healthy. Anyway, Lori knows I love her. I felt bad about it, but I think it's just me.
You think she's a terrible person.
No, honestly, dude.
I think everyone knows when Eric reacts like that to something.
Sometimes I have gut reactions, John. I can't change that about myself, you know.
If you go to a movie theater, you deserve to die, and everyone you know.
I did not say that.
Our local movie theater turned into our locally owned movie theater turned into a drive-in theater in the parking lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, we.
What do they project on? Like to the side of the building, or did they like paint?
No, they bought one of those like big blow up screens, so like the ones you'd put at like the pool.
Nice. Yeah, it's. I mean, and
it's cool because they get food, like a food truck from a local, or not a food truck all the time, but like they get food from local businesses. So they try and keep everything like local small business.
It's gonna get us through this coronavirus, I have a feeling.
Yeah, no, I mean there's supposedly like a resurgence in drive-ins happening, which is like kind of a neat thing.
No, that's cool. Definitely happening. Yeah.
I mean, for the few that are actually still around and could like get up and running. Our local drive-in guy had to resign from all of his businesses because of a particularly not great protest post that he made about a month ago.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Found out the world was different than he thought it was.
Do that.
Yeah.
All drive-ins matter.
It was a very like life comes at you fast situation.
Yeah.
All right.
Great to see it.
Yeah. No, it was great. All right, we got a really nice email from Natalie. So Natalie is also known as Doctorette of Horror. She is a big patron, Slacker, BGH fan. She also writes for the site. This was a really cool thing that's been happening on Slack. She says, about a week ago, I became aware of an Instagram account of Victorian Senior Care, a chain of elder care homes in North Carolina. Their account was becoming popular. It has over 70,000 followers at this point. Because they were posting about residents who were looking for pen pals, they post pictures of the residents holding up whiteboards that say their name and interests. As I glanced at their posts, one caught my eye. A woman named Pauline was holding up a sign that said, I like to watch scary movies and listen to rock and roll music. I immediately knew that number one, I needed to write Pauline a letter, and number two, I needed to post her picture to BGH Slack. I figured when I posted it to Slack, people would respond with, oh, that's cool, or Pauline's awesome, and that would be about it. What ended up happening is that a bunch of people said they wanted to write to Pauline too, so we coordinated our efforts. I put all the letters in one BGH bundle, and today I will be mailing out 8 letters to Pauline. So that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. So I helped them set up like a channel so everybody could coordinate. And I think some people just typed a letter, Natalie, that you printed out. Others, I think some people like hand wrote and mailed them to her to send, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting news, that we heard back or whatever. So I feel like we're going to make a bunch of other people she lives with kind of jealous.
Or she's going to be super weirded out. No, just kidding.
No, I mean,
if she's into horror,
if you're an old
cool.
lady that loves horror movies, you're fucking awesome. Like there's no,
she's going to be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's no middle ground there. So that was really cool. info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Joe, what do we got on Twitter tonight?
We got some tweets. We are on Twitter @BGHorror. Every week we use the hashtag AskBGH if you want to send in a question. Doesn't have to be about the movie.
Did you have to shame anyone, or were these tweets sent in without any shaming?
There was usually, so I do like 4 a day, like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 saying we've got like 2 hours, and 1 like last call. Usually my afternoon one is the like, hey,
I'm torn because like I hate when we don't have anything, but last week was a lot.
Yeah. Well, we have a good amount. So this afternoon's one was, I just made a comment that like, if tonight's episode's awful, it's your fault.
No biggie.
Yeah. So, like passive aggressive shaming.
No,
much like like the mother in this movie that we watched. All right, where did we leave off last week? So first up from this one actually came in, I think, just after we wrapped last week. Content Wolf, 2020. Who knew it was so bad it actually killed Michael Myers? Hashtag John Carpenter. Hashtag Bloomhouse.
Yeah, man.
He's gonna be resurrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be
Dude, I know we said it last week, but the teaser for that shit was amazing. Like, gave me chills.
It's pretty good.
Did you see it, John?
I watched it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Next up from, I don't even know how the fuck to say this. Mark Kofelici, 74. Which horror icon would be the worst president?
The current one?
I mean Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Like that's...
A wide awake nightmare every fucking second of every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much worse.
Yeah. Like I don't even have a joke answer that's better than that.
I mean, Jason would be pretty bad if you had to pick a horror, right?
From Human Centipede.
Yeah, it is bad. To be fair.
So what I'm going to need you guys to do is line up and get on your hands and knees, and I'll explain the rest later.
To be fair,
Hands
our
across
current
America.
president, our current president has killed way more than all those people combined. So,
Oh,
This is true.
Jesus Christ, guys.
all right, here's a shitty question from PS Gather 1313, referring to the last episode's question. What about graphic novels? Do you guys like those? I mean, seriously, they have novel in the title.
Now we're just being baited.
I respect the gumption to send this question in.
Yeah, now we're just being baited, Joe. You gonna take it? What do you think, buddy?
Well, no, I mean, my daughter likes picture books too. Like, she's 9, so I get why that would appeal to some folks.
Yeah, I have no comment.
Yeah, I'm here for the writer / asker. I think Casey, Cece, I don't know where you land on. I think you're pro
graphic novels.
Yeah, like comics. Where do we land on comics? Okay.
Oh, I'm all in on comics. I'm down.
Yeah, me too.
I just don't follow them quite as close.
I mean, I'm not opposed to them existing. I just, it's great for kids.
I mean, listen, Joe, I love you, but you also played Animal Crossing for quite some time, so I
got him.
I mean,
let's not try and rationalize where I land with stuff. Oh wow, what a treat! As if 2020 couldn't get worse. A 2-parter from COW Flanagan. Yo, I'm working on a screenplay about a weepy young guy that invites himself on his girlfriend's trip to Europe with her 3 hip, diverse lady friends.
I got it. Okay.
Anyway, it ends with the weepy boyfriend finding a like-minded support group and the girlfriend frozen alive in a seal costume while the boyfriend and his new supportive friends, who killed all the other ladies on the trip, laughs with glee. Working title, Winter Solstice. Thoughts?
wait, so like an actual animal seal, or does he mean like the singer seal? Is that also?
I mean, it sounds to me just like full on Bizarro Midsummer. I like it. I like the commitment to that bit, honestly.
I salute COW Flanagan for that one.
Listen, I respect commitment in general, John. You like to just crazy shit. Like, just fucking do it.
Yeah,
fuck it. Do you know how long this guy's been going? It's incredible.
Franchise Minneapolis. Who had the biggest crush on Penelope Ann Miller in the 90s?
You know what's funny is that's not a person I would ever like go, oh, crush. But you know what movie I love her in is Pee-wee's Big Top. She plays like his love interest, and she's just like gorgeous.
Well, no, she plays the girlfriend at the beginning, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, no, the love interest.
Oh, there's another, right? There's like a saucy circus lady, right?
Yeah, the one that he ends up leaving his fiance for.
Yes, got it.
Come on.
I don't know. Like, I will say comfortably, I'm not the one who had the biggest crush on Penelope Miller.
Yeah.
I don't know what else she's in though. I feel like I couldn't just name.
She was in Kindergarten Cop. That's like the thing that I probably best know.
It's not Tatuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So.
All right. So, I mean, I think it would be a tight race, but like, not.
Hold on. She's also in The Relic.
Oh shit! Okay, maybe that was where that.
Maybe
maybe that was where that came from.
Oh, sorry. We're finally catching on to this question.
She
was the main character.
Watch The Relic, yeah.
There you go.
All right. Next up from Jesse Rad. With the recent announcement of Scream Factory's huge Friday the 13th Blu-ray box set, I'm curious, if you had your choice, what movie series box set would you like to own, and what would you like the contents to include?
It's a very specific question. I mean, for me, it would be Friday the 13th. The cool thing about this box set, I don't know if you saw it, John, but there's a bunch of ancillary art that they got this guy Joel Robinson to do. This is like the only artist that I actually own work from. Like, he does the convention scene. He does these really incredible like Technicolor horror villain portraits. It's really cool. This like he did this whole inset that has like every Jason represented in it. They just showed it's like a sell sheet for it.
I have not seen this, but I would check it out. I was gonna go with just a generic, or not generic, but a John Carpenter collection. You know, give me like the first 10, everything up through, I don't know, vampires probably. I'd have to look at it. But
we'll wait, John, if you want to like.
No, let's go with that, and we'll go from.
You want to weigh the pros and cons?
No.
Yeah. Anybody else? I mean, I will never not buy a Star Wars box set, and I will happily buy another one at any moment.
You know what
I really feel like I should pony up and buy the Hannibal box set. I just haven't yet.
There's a great Hammer horror box set that came out like 10 years ago, which I've never ponied up for because I'm a shitty collector, but that'd be pretty sweet.
You know what I had, Joe, that I ended up throwing out that I like really regret throwing out that you would have loved is and you might have seen this, the THX Star Wars VHS edition, and it was like a big black collector's box with a big like Darth Vader kind of like silhouette on the front of it. It's like really nice material, and then you open it up.
I still have that.
You open it up, and it has like the foam cutouts for the 3 VHS. I kept the VHS, and I got rid of the thing. I wish I hadn't, but
yeah, I still have those. Yeah, I own so many versions of that. All right, next up from Lycanthropology. What non-horror movie hero would you most want to have with you in a horror movie scenario?
These questions are
Thor,
so specific.
Right? Oh, just Thor. Like Thor, honestly, like I'm not ashamed of it. Like I find him extremely attractive, and like I would just want to be around.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, buddy. I got you.
He's just a good-looking gentleman. Or I
mean, Joe, this is all this is going to end up in is you and me just talking about how we just want Brad Pitt with us, but it's not really a superhero thing. We just want.
Well, I would also like everyone hated the movie, but Green Lantern, like Ryan Reynolds, just hanging out with me.
The cool thing about hanging out with Ryan Reynolds, he seems like somebody that would really pump you up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you'd feel really good about yourself. You'd feel really good about yourself after hanging out with him for like an hour.
I feel like he might mock me, but it's fine. It's totally fine with it. All right, Dusty Everly, you can turn your favorite comedy into a horror movie. What is the movie and how are you doing it? Jesus,
Lord.
Tough.
I do crossover with Golden Girls and Scooby Doo.
That would be a good one.
I could do Happy Gilmore, where like he just murders people with the golf clubs.
That's a pretty good answer. Go
to your home. Movie or show?
Just this comedy.
John,
I don't think you're being particular here.
Why do you always have to make things complicated? Jesus. What is that about you?
Yeah. Anybody else?
Specifics.
No, I can't beat the Happy Gilmore. That's solid.
Yeah, I like both of those options.
Next up from Nelson Tommy. You've seen Hamilton either live or on film for Disney Plus? If so, thoughts?
There's been a lot of Slack talk because a lot of people seeing it for the first time now. I have yet to see it.
We bought a projector for outside and we split it up over 2 nights, but we watched it outside. It is a beautiful, beautiful experience, and I've got the fever. I've got Hamilton fever.
Had you seen it before?
I saw it on stage and have not watched the movie, and I'm very
la-dee-da, John.
Of course you did, John.
Well, no, what the question was, have you seen it in any format?
No, I know. You just had
the question.
I know. You just had to let us know how you saw it. I understand.
But I'm very excited. No, my wife, I think, has listened to the soundtrack So whenever the soundtrack came out like 3 years ago, it's been her like most listened to album on Spotify for like those 3 years.
Joe,
every year it's like the end of year thing is like the most boring thing ever.
Joe, weren't you saying then the first watch through you had absolutely no idea what was happening?
Well, yeah. So we split it up. We watched it actually on 4th of July when there was just like man-made fireworks going off, all over the place, and like I had no clue what the fuck was going on. But then like the second half, like kind of picked up, and I got it.
No, like it does help to. Like you gotta study a little history.
Well,
okay.
I just mean like being able to pay attention when like fireworks are literally going off 10 feet from you.
Sorry, and that was like not to imply that Joe hadn't done that. I'm just saying like
that's what I heard.
That's what I did before I went and watched it because it's like It's...
No, I heard you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time someone starts talking about Hamilton to me, it sounds like a lot of homework. Which like
it's really good, Eric. You should watch it.
I was very much like this is I'm not gonna get on board with this because everybody else loves it. Like, and literally the last few scenes just bawling my fucking eyes out, and I didn't care who saw me.
I'm also fully in that Eric mode where everyone's telling me to watch something, and I'm kind of digging my heels in a little bit.
Exactly.
We understand it.
My response on Slack still stands. I've got zero interest in it. It just doesn't appeal for me. But all you fans out there, I'm glad you got it on Disney.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it seems like a cool thing, and what I like about it is that everybody seems to pull a lot of positivity from it. So I think that's a good thing, obviously.
You guys are excited. I understand. It just doesn't. It's not all has to be for me.
It's like Joe and Eric in comic books. So.
Yep.
Anywho, Whitney's please. What horror movie do you wish had an accompanying Lego set?
I think the
Addams
Shining. I
Family.
think the Shining Lego set would be pretty sick. Like a
Would be pretty cool.
Overlook Hotel would be fucking.
I'll go
amazing.
The Thing, but I want the dog that's like exploding situation. The dog that's got the alien coming out of it. So.
You could do all sorts of cool stuff with the Addams Family. You could do the house. You could do different rooms in the house. You could do their car. It'd be pretty sweet.
Elisa loves pizza. That's our friend Elisa. She asks, best horror movie poop scene. Hashtag poop is always funny.
Oh man,
Monstered.
Clear answer. Okay, I have seen Monstered. That's a pretty good answer. But the best answer is Friday the 13th Part 5. When Miguel A. Nunez Jr. has a bad burrito or something, and he ends up in like this terrifying, like campground. The only thing you call it is a shitter. It's like corrugated metal, around him or whatever. And he's singing this really creepy. He's singing to his girlfriend who's outside, and then he gets killed by Jason. It's a really amazing. When he's like he's really leaning into the acting of like the stomach cramps that he's having.
She did include an animated GIF from the Visit or whatever, where the diaper.
The Visit.
Oh, that was a great scene.
The Visit's really good. Not a horror movie, but I always think Bridesmaids has like one of the best shitting scenes ever.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's probably.
Where she just sinks down in the middle of the street in the dress.
I always think of what was it, The Descent 2, where like
is there a pooping scene? I don't remember anything from that movie.
Yeah. It's the only thing I remember for Descent 2. It's like they're hiding in the water from the creatures, and the one creature like takes a dump over the ledge, like into the water.
I don't remember that. Like a penguin?
I 100% do not remember that either.
You ever seen like a penguin enclosure? They like line up at the top and just poop on each other, and they keep going around. It's pretty intense.
I've never noticed that.
It's hard not to if you've seen it, John.
Well, maybe I've not spent enough.
Shinemaster 9000, you're stuck in Camp Crystal Lake. Jason's on the prowl. Do you think you can survive the night? If not, how do you get killed?
Well, hold on. How many other horny teens are around? Because that would definitely.
Oh,
yeah,
John,
if there's other
John.
people I can throw in the way, then I'll definitely last a lot
John,
longer.
you are the horniest, so you're dead first.
No, that's that was somewhat.
No one out. I think the answer is no one out there is hornier than you are.
Are you worried that you would be the horniest and he'd come after you first, or are you going to be too busy to worry about dying?
Well, see, the implication is I need a partner, and so like
okay,
if I'm there by myself,
we're going just down a road now.
John just wants to know if he's having sex in this situation.
Yeah, exactly. That's where this conversation.
I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to give my same answer that I gave for the apocalypse question 2 weeks ago, which is that you take out your lawn chair and you sit and you just wait.
John, have you never masturbated? Do you know that you don't always need somebody?
Yeah, but I feel like I can control myself if I knew Jason was on the prowl. But I'm just saying, like, otherwise, who knows?
What? Did you miss that part of the sex ed videos?
Oh man!
I'll send you a pamphlet, okay, John? I don't know. You get to understand.
What an amazing world you're about to discover, John.
I love this.
Wow.
All right, next up from BJ Allen writes, and I feel like he's just baiting me here. Why are Chicago people so high on their crappy pizza? It's like a loaf of stale bread covered with whole cow's worth of cheese, tomato slices, because fuck sauce, right? And then whatever they found in the sink strainer at the end of.
I don't have a problem with it. The problem is that they insist on calling it pizza. That's like it's just like it's like bread lasagna, and that's okay. It looks delicious, but like we're gonna call it pizza.
We're missing the
tip
real...
of my cap to this question.
We're missing the real problem of Chicago pizza, and that is the thin crust in this fucking hellhole.
It's garbage. Yeah.
I've gone over this so many times, and I know it's annoying to listen to again, but like it's called pub style, and it's cracker thin. They put the toppings under the sauce, obviously, and it's fucking god awful.
Can I tell you something, Joe? I have heard this rant maybe 40 times, and I love it more every time.
I get so enraged when people like.
I mean,
like I belong to like a Facebook group for our town where like people recommend restaurants and stuff, and like. People are like, oh, great pizza from fucking Lolo's, and it's like
you fucking
you're
lose
a
it on
fucking
them.
pile of trash.
Joe's flaming people on Facebook over their pizza. I mean, Joe, we also grew up in a small town in New York with 4 restaurants, 3 of which were all amazing pizza places. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell Leslie. Leslie is always like amazed at how good the restaurants are where we grew up too, and it's like
it's only the
because,
pizza.
like,
There's nothing
going
else good
out to
there.
eat was like a big deal. So it's like if you were a shitty restaurant, like you couldn't survive
Yeah.
because like no one's gonna go there. Like, but I don't know. Like, fucking Sbarro can make good pizza. Why can't these assholes here?
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'll get down with some Sbarro. I'm not too good.
Honestly, it's some of the best pizza you can get in Chicago.
You're in like an airport and you feel like you're feeling a little famished.
It's great.
Go to town.
Do you have Pizza King over there by you?
No.
Fuck you, Casey. All right, I'm sorry.
Pizza King's awesome.
I mean, I had never seen a CC's Pizza until I went to Florida, and I went there once and I was like, this is trash.
Oh my god.
Trash.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
CC's pizza is not good.
Well,
CC, delightful.
The thin crust pizza you can get here in Chicago look like, you know.
Yeah, well, no.
treasure.
When I was in college, like we would go to CC's because I think it was all you can eat, and
For,
It
like,
is. It's a buffet. Yeah, and they have like
Yeah.
insane self-destructive desserts there for you to indulge in too, which is always nice.
All right, 2 more. Vivianality, Vivality. I don't know. Fritz. Since the coronavirus has shut down film and television production for the foreseeable future, do you think audio dramas will see a resurgence?
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean, listen, do you know how many white people are out there right now bored just looking to start a podcast?
well, audio drama though is like a specific, like it's there.
But yes, yeah, no, I could totally see that happening, and you're starting to see weird crap about filming sex scenes with like dolls or like CGI. I don't know. I feel like the next year or two of materials are going to get really weird because
Wait, where are you?
I just saw this headline today. So I think somebody
I've
posted.
seen something similar to that.
I
too.
think
don't
somebody-
remember details.
Because that's been on there for a while.
What
think
website are you on?
Okay, I'm done. Fuck you, John.
I don't know.
I was on X Hamster today and I saw this article.
Oh my god.
Okay, Joe, settle down.
So I mean, like this is actually like what I do in my day-to-day job is like,
Have
I
sex
work.
with dolls?
Sex
No,
doll
I
stuff?
work in podcast. Like so, the question. I was gonna try to give a serious answer to the question, but if you don't want to hear it, that's totally fine.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you try to give it.
I work in podcasting.
No, but so there's a lot of like film folks that are out basically trying to convert their like script or this idea, like they're trying to use podcast or audio as a development tool.
Sure.
I think the problem is it's still too expensive. Like the ROI.
There's no money.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's money, but it's not.
It's not movie money. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And so you got to be able to make it cheap, and then you got to get distribution. And if there's like a million of these goddamn things out there, no one's going to listen to them. There are examples of hits, but like they're few and far between. Or there's a lot of not.
Sounds like a great industry to go work in, John.
All right, Joe. What else we got?
It's okay. It's okay, Casey.
I work in podcasting. Last but not least, WSBB Productions. And again, I think this is because we said we were watching Relic and they mistook it for the Relic. How does the look of the monster hold up? Does Tom Sizemore look weird?
The grandma holds up pretty good. She's pretty horrifying.
Tom Sizemore always looks weird, so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he has not aged well.
No, I
trust
mean
God.
when you live
Works.
life like that, you tend not to.
Yeah.
Oh my
Is he
God.
alive? He's alive, right?
Yeah.
Fair question.
would kill for a shirt that just says I work in podcasting.
Joe, I'm sure it's available on TeePublic actually. Right
John,
now,
you better not let
so-
them see that hair. You might not work in podcasting anymore.
The wife's got a cricket right here. Like
Podcast
this.
there, you look whatever the hell you want to look like.
Okay, that's fair.
Nice part.
That's fair.
All right, that's it. That's it for tweets.
Oh God, thank you. I'm so tired. All right, guys. Info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Don't forget we're on Twitter. If you want to get a live stream of the show, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. Also get access to Slack. And you guys know what we're doing next week, John. So why don't you tell me?
Oh, I was just waiting for you to be like, yeah, we're gonna figure it out what we're doing.
I have no idea. I
that's
know
what
it.
it is. The Rental, Dave Franco directorial debut.
Cool. Is it going to be emotional snuff porn like this movie?
Yes. No, that's the subtitle. Like it's the rental, emotional snuff porn.
Yeah. I assume you just have like a movie list and that's what it's titled, and we're just checking them off.
Quote from the New Yorker.
Yeah.
Emotional snuff porn.
just big block quote at the top of the review.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
all right, guys.
It's pretty good.
That's what we're doing next week. Enjoy. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And we'll talk to you then.
See you.
Bye.
I work in podcasting.
Bye-bye.